There are 5 good reasons to protect traditional marriage. First, uniting one man and one woman together is the basis of our entire culture. It's the oldest tradition in our culture. Second reason, gay marriage is not about equal rights. It's just about gay pride. The third reason, there is a slippery slope towards polygamy and pedophilia after you legitimize gay marriage. Fourth, being homosexual is not the new black. And fifth, traditional marriage has already been damaged enough. The first point I made is that our one man and one woman marriage is the basis for our culture, the oldest tradition within our culture. And marriage is how we honor that tradition. Gay couples have nothing to do with that tradition. Therefore, gay couples should have nothing to do with the tradition of marriage. And let's get our priorities straight. Traditional marriage is the foundation of Western society, and the government has a legitimate interest in promoting the foundation of society. Therefore, the government has a legitimate interest in promoting traditional marriage. But let's look at homosexual marriage. Homosexual relationships are not the foundation of any society. Therefore, the government does not have a legitimate interest in promoting homosexual marriage. And now my second point I was making is that gay marriage is really about gay pride, not equal rights. Under California's domestic partnership law, for example, quote, registered domestic partners shall have the same rights, protections, and benefits as are granted to and imposed upon spouses. Seems like equal rights to me. And most other states have similar laws, but they usually call the relationship a civil union instead of domestic partnership. And what about federal benefits? Gay activists say that there are over 1,100 federal benefits that they cannot get if they are not, quote, married. Well, there's a simple solution to that. Pass a federal law that requires federal agencies to provide equal benefits for gay couples who are registered by any state as a civil union or domestic partnership. You don't need to call it a marriage. Some gay activists are honest about this, though. They admit, my third point, it's not about equal rights, it's about gay pride. According to one of many gay websites I visited researching this, they said, quote, civil union and domestic partnerships are a second-class status. They are no substitute for the full measure of respect, clarity, security, and responsibilities of marriage itself. So that's the reason they want to call the relationship a marriage. It's for their social acceptance and their own personal self-esteem. And the fourth point I mentioned was that there is a slippery slope towards polygamy and pedophilia after you legitimize gay marriage. If we legalize gay marriage, then we are changing the definition of marriage to accommodate people with an alternative lifestyle. Well, that's exactly what the polygamists want. They want us to change the definition of marriage to accommodate their alternative lifestyle. One group wants to change the gender of traditional marriage, and the other group wants to change the number of traditional marriage. Both changes are equally drastic. And why discriminate against polygamists? How can you support gay marriage but still oppose polygamist marriage? Aren't you discriminating? Perhaps you simply like gay people more than polygamists, or perhaps a relative of yours is gay and he supports gay marriage. But those are not valid reasons to discriminate against polygamists. Equal rights should not depend on whose lifestyle you happen to like. Homosexuals reply whenever polygamy comes up by saying, oh, polygamy is a choice, but my sexual orientation, my gayness, is not a choice. Well, a polygamist can claim exactly the same thing. He can say, having multiple wives is natural for me. Ever since puberty, I knew I would not be satisfied with one wife. It's part of who I am. And what will come next? After we accept gay marriage and polygamist marriage, will pedophiles demand to change the definition of marriage to accommodate their alternative lifestyle? Why not? 100 years ago, girls were often married at 15 or even 12 years old. If two people really love each other and they are committed to each other, then who are we to judge? Sound crazy? Well, gay marriage sounded crazy just 10 years ago. But over enough years and with enough pressure from activist groups, the ridiculous becomes socially acceptable. The fourth point I wanted to raise is that being homosexual is not the new black. Gay activists use words like equal rights because they want us to think that letting homosexuals get married is just like letting black people vote. But there are some big differences. First, when we gave black people the right to vote, we did not change the definition of voting, and we did not change the oldest foundation of our society. Liberals even argue, well, if a Christian baker refuses to bake a cake for a gay wedding, that's the same as a white restaurant owner refusing to serve a black customer. No, it's not the same. The two situations are totally different. The Christian baker is simply trying to preserve the most important foundation of our society. He's trying to preserve a good thing. The racist restaurant owner is not trying to preserve a good thing. He is preserving racism, which is never the foundation for any healthy society. So the Christian baker is trying to preserve something that's good and beneficial. The racist restaurant owner is trying to preserve a tradition that is evil and harmful to society. The two situations are drastically different. Number 5, the fifth reason why I oppose gay marriage is that traditional marriage has already been damaged quite enough. In the 1950s, society decided that we needed no-fault divorce laws, which made it much easier to terminate a marriage. In the 1960s, welfare programs encouraged women to have babies outside of marriage. And in the 1970s, feminism taught women that marriage is a form of slavery. And please note that all of these attacks on marriage were done by liberals with good intentions, just like the liberals today who support gay marriage. The final argument a gay activist uses when he has nothing left in his quiver is he'll say something like, well, how does gay marriage affect you? This implies that I am not allowed to have opinions about some social issue unless I can prove that it affects me personally and directly. That is absurd. For example, I have an opinion about my state legalizing marijuana, but I don't smoke marijuana. I also have an opinion about the state lottery, but I don't play the state lottery. It won't affect me, but I'm still entitled to opinions on any social issue that affects the society that I live in. In conclusion, please wake up. Marriage between a man and a woman is the very foundation of our civilization. Traditional marriage is a precious thing, which is worth protecting, and that means not changing it. Thank you for listening.